Hey there, this is Mr. Icarus, and if you've been keeping track of the news coming out of E3 2015 so far, you should be well aware of the Doom gameplay clips that have dropped as part of the Bethesda press conference. And so far I've seen 3 different clips. The first one seems to be set in an early game Foundry setting. The second one seems to be set in Hell, which is lovely because we like a little bit of Hell in our Doom games. And the third one seems to be a bit more of a sizzle reel for the Doom multiplayer gameplay, which I'm quite looking forward to checking out. And out of those gameplay clips, I was a lot more impressed with the Hell gameplay than I was with the Foundry gameplay. And that seems to be down to the fact that the Hell gameplay just got straight down to business. There was no faffing around, there was no exploring how these guns look when you pick them up. Oh, look how it whirs and clicks, look at the engraving on the super shotgun. I don't give a toss. My only priority here is finding out how big of a bang it makes and how big of a mess it makes. And if that feels good, that sounds good, if that looks good, I'm happy. I don't care about the whirry, clicky, lighty-uppy bullshit on the side of these things. I just want to put a minimal amount of time between me picking the thing up and discharging it forcefully in a demon's face. While I'm at it actually, a lot of the weaponry in this version of Doom doesn't seem to have a lot of oomph behind it, bar the super shotgun of course. I mean the plasma rifle for one, that's one of my favorite weapons out of the original Doom, and in this version of the game you might as well replace the firing sound effect with fart noises. So yeah, this is something I hope they continue to tweak and improve during this final stage of development, because if there's any other function that a gun in this kind of game needs to perform other than blasting demons to smithereens, it's to make the player feel like a badass. Beyond that, we got pretty much clear confirmation of the brutal Doom influence in this version of the game. There's certainly a lot more of the old ultra-violence scattered about, what with those unique executions that you can perform on enemies when they're weakened enough. And despite those executions being fantastically gory and over the top, I'm glad that the option to skip them exists, because let's face it, in this day and age we get a lot more desensitized to this stuff than we care to admit, and there's only so many animations you can run through before you start to get a little bored of watching this stuff over and over. So it's nice to have the option just to keep the gun party going and just keep blasting away rather than going for the old ripping out the heart routine. Actually, on a related note, I noticed a few people complaining about the new version of the chainsaw and how it essentially seemed to be just a canned execution animation generator, and I'm like, what do you expect? It's a gimmick weapon to begin with, who gives a fuck? If you don't like it, don't use it. That's what it's there for. It's there to provide a cheap, visceral thrill when you've got the time to use it. Most of the time you're just going to be switching over to your guns anyway. So yeah, the Foundry section was okay, I suppose. It wasn't a fantastic showcase for new Doom. I think that's definitely reserved for the Hell segment of gameplay. Yep, the Hell segment is straight down to business. A lot less faffing around, a lot less gun wank, and a lot more blasting things to smithereens. In fact, I was impressed with the distinct lack of corridors here. There seems to be a lot more freedom of movement. It seems to be a kind of arena-style environment with escalating waves of enemies, and I'm pretty much down for that. That is exactly what I'm after. It's this fast, frantic, run-and-gun action that brought me to Doom in the first place. That freedom of movement is something that I believe is sorely missing from most modern FPS games that are very eager to box you in and force you down a linear path. But here it seems like these environments are designed to take advantage of those abilities that were teased in the Foundry, for example, a double jump, maybe a few more that we're not privy to just yet. We also got to have a look at some of the more advanced enemies. A Mancubus waddled its way out. That looked pretty badass, and I'm not usually too hot for the new modern monster designs in Doom, because let's face it, the Imps and the Hell Knights, they kind of look like crap. I'm a real stickler for that original design, and even that original noise that Hell Knights make. It's a nostalgia trigger for me. And Imps, I just think they're not spiky enough. That's it. It needs more spikes. Put more spikes on the goddamn Imps and I will be happy. But if there's one enemy that they seem to have definitely done right by, that is certainly the Revenant. It is instantly recognizable, and you know what? They stuck a jetpack on the goddamn thing. There is nothing worse than an agitated skeleton with homing rocket launchers on its shoulders that can now fly. Holy shit, that looks like it's going to be terrifying to encounter. And I forgot to mention, the one significant uptick in the Foundry gameplay section was right at the very end. You get ambushed by a Revenant, pins you down, rips off your arm, and beats you to death with the soggy end. I mean, oh yeah, job done. Job done. Enough said. Goddamn intimidated. So yeah, you could say I'm cautiously optimistic. Sure, I've got a few misgivings, but these are things that could quite easily be tweaked. I'm willing to look past the lack of spiky spikes on imps as long as everything else is tweaked to a satisfactory degree, and I'm looking forward to seeing how this actually performs in the hands of the general public, because I believe I've got access to the Doom multiplayer beta as part of buying Wolfenstein: A New Order, and I'm hoping that'll give me good insight into how the weapons actually feel and whether they've actually tweaked anything about them, because I want my plasma gun to make me feel like a goddamn badass. Is that too much to ask? No, of course not. Anyway, that's my 2 cents on the new Doom gameplay footage from E3 2015. Hope you enjoyed listening to me ramble on and on. Let me know what you thought in the comments below, and hopefully in the near future I'll be able to get my hands on the Doom multiplayer beta and give you guys some hands-on gameplay impressions. This has been Mr. Icarus. Icarus out.